I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is going to be a very terrible video. Now, to save you 10 minutes of listening, customer's car is fucked. That is the bottom line. This Evo 3 is shagged. And the reason for that is not my fault. It's actually the Japanese port's fault. And you know, I'm not one to just sit and point blame, but this is facts, okay? So, bought cars from auction. We've done it thousands of times, and very rare we have this sort of problem. This problem's happened twice in 8.5 years, but this time it's not very fun because you know, it is a big problem, and I've seen it online more and more recently that at the ports things are getting stolen, which we know about. And I've also had evidence before from a client of ours who had a drive recorder in the car, and they were also abusing and driving his car terribly bad. This car didn't have a drive recorder. It is also an Evo. The other one was an Evo. And they said they couldn't export the car anymore. And they couldn't export the car because it doesn't start and the tyre is damaged. Alright, so I passed this information on to the client straight away as soon as I got it. I said, I'm sorry, the car can't be exported anymore. We've been told it doesn't start and the tyre is damaged. Naturally, he's upset. He actually had an appointment, a very important, like a wedding and things to go to with this car. And so it needed to get on this boat. And because it's gone through customs and it's gone through the export procedure, and it's gone into the lock compound, you can't just take the car back out and bring it into Japan. Although it's still in Japan, it's just like immigration at the airport when you step through. So we can't just get the car back. We've only just got the car back yesterday. All right, and it took a couple of weeks to get to this point, to get everything reversed, cancel the boat, and get the car out. So we finally got to see the car, and we got to see the tyre. We got to see what damage was done to the tyre. This is before we even looked at the battery or the starter motor or whatever the issue might be. Let me show you. This is the tyre that has come off of that car. We knew that the tyre was damaged, so I actually purchased 4 new ones. So I've replaced the tyres on the car, all right, for the customer already. Goodwill gesture. Sorry about this happening. But we've got the car, and this is the tyre. It's fully delaminated everywhere, right? And you know, you see marks here on the edge where it is a bit of an old tyre, but you see where it's sort of been driven hard, where it's burred over. And so we sought to get an idea of what's happened to this car in the port. Now, we changed the battery on the car and tried to get the car running, which we couldn't. We failed. And while we was looking at the car, this is also what we found damaged on the car. Here. So what they've done is they've tried to pull the car, right, with the tow-in eye, and without any care, they've damaged the splitter on the car. This was not like it, alright? So of course it wasn't. I've got pictures and videos, as I do on every car, for this exact reason. We take videos and pictures when the car enters the port, but don't like having backlash on it. And in this case, clearly it's been damaged. You see that we've changed the tyres. Alright, so we put new tyres on. But you see how they treat the cars at the port. I'm not sure here why it's got tape to hold the bonnet closed, because the bonnet actually closed just fine. So that tells me that you know, they had a battery pack on or whatever. I'm not too sure. I'm really not sure on this. So The worst news of this is that we tried to turn the engine over with a socket and a wrench on the crankshaft, and it was locked. And we're thinking, how's the car just seized an engine? Like, how'd you do that in port? Like, you drive it onto the boat, right? But by looking at the tyre and looking at the mileage on the car, which it's done an extra 10 kilometres from when we took it there, leads me to believe that this car was abused and driven really badly. And I know that other people have had evidence of that sort of stuff, so if you have, you can leave a comment here and let us know your situation. And what we did was, I took out the spark plugs. I wanted to check, see if we could see anything, and one of the spark plugs is absolutely mangled. I'll show you here on the screen. And this was the spark plug out of cylinder 2. I mean, the engine is it's a reverse rotation, so it's 2, you know, from the right hand side, cylinder 2. And when we looked in and looked with a bore scope, we seen that the piston had melted. Detonation is what's happened, and that occurs from lack of fuel and boost. You don't get detonation to melt a piston on idle. You do not get it on normal driving circumstances when your car is going to run out of fuel. Doesn't happen. It's happened because this car has been driven and abused with a low tank of fuel, which is the regulation, by the way. It's the regulation. You can't put fuel in a car and send it to port because of fire hazards. So it's just the rules of what it is. And someone's driven it really badly. They've done that to the tyre and melted a cylinder. So shit situation, honestly. But how are we supposed to fix that? You know, because it's difficult. Obviously the client's upset with it being delayed because of a simple reason of the car not starting or a tyre, and now it's turned out that the engine is kaput. There are several things. You know, we are covered full insurance on the car for total loss when it gets on the boat. When it gets into the port, I'm not sure. We're going to have a look into that. We've never had this situation where you're trying to claim on the insurance at this point. It's not even on the boat yet. But also what's very important to know, which, you know, if you're an exporter somewhere, you'll understand this situation, but the ports are run by mafia, yeah? It's a tough situation because to get spaces on boats quickly, you need to gain a rapport, you know, a good solid business, basically, where you're sending cars monthly or weekly, and they'll start to give you spots earlier. If you go to complain, I had this, like I say, this happened twice before. One time was they jumped the battery the wrong way and they fried an ECU, which we had to pay for. But anyway, when you get to this point, from my experience of the previous time, when you make a claim or try to argue that they've done something wrong, they will just start rejecting your shipments. They will start to not offer you spaces, or they'll sit and say, sorry, we can't do business with your company anymore because we've created a ruckus, because we've made a problem, which is not our fault. It's just the fact that they don't like problems being brought up. And easier than just trying to rectify it, they'll just throw us out and say, you're not shipping cars here anymore, bud, see you later. So we're going to try and see what we can do at the port, but it's very difficult because obviously the customer has bought this car as a working car. We have done our job, our due diligence, which is to inspect the car, test it, drive it, send it to port and export it with the exporter and with the sourcing agent. When things go to port, it's kind of out of our hands. Like if it stops off at different ports, things get stolen. It's not our problem, and people need to understand that. But obviously you feel bad. In this situation, I really don't know what to do. I don't feel like I can sit and do nothing, but at the same time, I don't think it's right that I pay for a new engine on this car, because it's just like, You know, it's expensive, and it's one of them. Like, who does pay for it? This is the hard thing. I mean, I often think that I shouldn't export old cars anymore. You know, I have a very good customer base in Ireland for exporting cars, and their rules and regulations that you can import anything, but people's choice, they choose to purchase cars over 30 years old because they get cheaper vehicle registration tax if it's over 30. The problems that come with that is you've now got a car that's 30 years old and it's liable for problems. It's going to happen. They're old cars. It's very risky. You know, example, there was a Subaru that we exported and it had a fuel leak on the boat and it got stuck in Europe. The car is 31, 32 years old. We can't foresee these problems. And again, let me clarify, if there's any problems with the car when it goes to port, it's not accepted. They are not accepted into the port if they've got problems. So, you know, these cars obviously get the problems later on. And in this instance, it's tough because if the port don't pay out, you know, it's horrible to say, you know, because we almost are in the position where it's like the car was working, we've done our job, now it's broken, but it's not our problem, you know. But it's complicated, isn't it? It's not as straight cut as that. You know, you feel bad for the customer, you know, you really do. And when you have these situations, you know it's not the customer's fault, you know clearly it was driven badly, someone should pay for it. And at this moment in time, I don't really know what the situation is or what we should do. It's just a shit show, to be honest, and I'm kind of tired to export old cars. You know, it just seems like old cars they're inviting a problem, you know. Yeah, I understand everyone wants the older cars, but financially, business-wise, it's no good to us. You know, so it's a tough one. It really is. It really is. You know, I enjoy to buy them, but for business, maybe it's no good, and that's why a lot of export companies don't deal with this older JDM stuff anymore. You see, the trend has gone to European cars, and that's for this exact reason. It's almost like a cost-effective insurance for us, and no headaches. Fact it's damaged as well on the splitter, you're just like, no words. It's damn frustrating. You know, all I want to do is just source good cars and export good cars, but all the variables in between, I can't control it. I really can't. I apologise to say that, but it is out of my hands. I've asked for some advice off people. They say try to claim, but if we can't export cars through this shipping line anymore, then it is what it is. But then it just makes it harder for us trying to get slots with different shipping lines. You know, it slows the process down. Some other people have voiced that put this car in the container and send it to them, because it's a car that's been purchased, it's now broken, clearly out of our hands, but it's also not our issue. Just send it and they have to fix it. It is what it is. Second-hand old car. Don't like the thought of that. Third option is for us to fix it here for the customer, but then we're taking on the headache. We don't really think that we should pay for it. However, what we could probably do is offer you know, it free of charge labour, which again, it's a shit situation for them and it's a shit situation for us. So I don't know. And the other one is, like I say, to go through the insurance and try that way. But if nothing comes of it, then I've got absolutely no suggestion on what to do. And that's that. So hopefully this doesn't put a lot of you off. It's not something that happens all the time. I am one to voice my opinion and post things when things like this happen. and clearly it's not that often. But you know, something is to be said with the shipping lines and the staff at the shipping ports all over the world. They're all scumbags, and there's nothing you can really do. But I mean, out of 1,000 cars or so that we've exported, more, this is the second issue. So it's not too common, but it does happen. So just making you aware, these sort of situations, and yeah, that's it. Right, I'll leave you with it. Just thought I'd give you that update, and yeah, what do you do? I mean, I could probably try and put it in auction, get back what we can, try and find him another one. Don't know, where'd you draw the line, huh? Anyway, take it easy. Thanks for watching it. Hope this was good information to some of you. And yeah. Peace. See you in the next one.